The BRICS group, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is increasingly seen as a significant challenger to the Western-led global financial and political order. With growing economic power and political influence, the bloc has made efforts to reshape global institutions and challenge Western dominance, particularly that of the US and Europe, in global governance. The BRICS nations have collectively called for reforms to key global financial institutions, such as the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, which they argue disproportionately represent Western interests. These countries seek to establish a more multipolar world order that reflects the rising influence of emerging economies and allows for greater representation of developing nations in global decision-making. Several key developments highlight this shift: BRICS expansion. Discussions within the BRICS bloc about expanding its membership to include other emerging economies could strengthen its influence and ability to shape global policies. This move signals its ambition to create an alternative geopolitical alliance that rivals Western-dominated institutions like NATO or the G7. New Development Bank, NDB, established by BRICS as an alternative to the World Bank, the NDB is aimed at funding infrastructure and development projects in emerging economies, thereby reducing reliance on Western financial institutions. The NDB is seen as a tool to promote financial sovereignty and challenge the US dollar's dominance in international finance. De-dollarization efforts. BRICS countries have intensified efforts to move away from the US dollar in international trade, with initiatives to use local currencies in trade deals. This effort aligns with broader global trends aimed at reducing dependency on the dollar, particularly by nations like Russia and China, who are looking to diminish US economic leverage. Geopolitical realignments. As Western nations face criticism for their handling of international conflicts and economic challenges, BRICS countries are positioning themselves as alternative leaders in global governance. For instance, Russia and China have formed closer ties with each other and with nations outside the Western bloc, enhancing their collective bargaining power on the global stage. In this context, BRICS represents a direct challenge to the Western-led world order by proposing a multipolar world in which emerging economies play a more central role. The group's initiatives, from establishing financial institutions to advocating for reform in global governance, indicate a growing shift in global power dynamics. While the BRICS bloc faces challenges in coordination and cohesion, its influence is undeniably rising, putting the Western-led system on notice that the global balance of power is changing.